You want some excitement? Tune in to Just My Thoughts. Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Erick Coughlin. I'd like to welcome you to my podcast, Just My Thoughts. This is what I do. Normally, I just what I break down sports. I break down wrestling, NBA, NFL, WWE. A lot of people's like, what do you mean WWE? Well, it is a sport. It's a professional wrestling sport, so I break that down. I accumulate thoughts on the thought tracker, and then I make it my agenda to knock them down. So we're going to get into that. On the thought tracker today, I'm going to break down the division of the NFL, each and every division of the NFL. So primarily there's 8 divisions, but it's just like 4 doubled. So you have the NFC North, AFC North. You have the NFC South, AFC South. You have the NFC East, AFC East. You have the NFC West, AFC West. That's just the way it works. That's just the way it breaks down. And the reason why I decided to do this today is because the last couple of episodes, last couple of podcasts I've created, I've went mind blank on the divisions, breaking down teams and players for you guys, and it just kind of like lapsed me because my main focus is the NFC North. That's primarily where my brain stays. That's where my heart lies. So, I'm all about my division and what's going on and with all 4 of those teams, just to see how much of a shot or how much of a disadvantage I'm going to have for that following season. But creating this podcast has opened up my mind to do what I've always done. I've always been like, a fan of the game. So I've always been a pretty good sport about keeping up with, players, not really divisions, but players and teams. So anyway, I've challenged myself to break down these divisions, and I'm going to do a little bit more than that. So obviously, I already told you what they were, but I'm going to tell you the teams. I'm also going to pick a winner for each division, and I'm going to break down what I think might be the most defensive division. I'm going to give you what I think is going to be the most exciting quarterback competition. And then overall, the hardest division to win, the most competitive, however you want to feel, however that should be worded through your minds. That's what I'm going to do for you today. So let's get started. First of all, right here at home, we're going to start in the NFC North. NFC North is made up of the Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions, and the Minnesota Vikings. So if everyone knows their history, they know that pretty much Aaron Rodgers owns that division, right? He even went on record and said it. Personally, took a shot at me and my team, said he owned us, but he owns that division. So this is what's going to happen. For the first time, actually maybe the second time of his career, and possibly the second time in my life that I'll get to see this, I'm going to see the Green Bay Packers going dead last in NFC North. I'm going to pick the Bears to go first, from worst to first. We won 3 games last year. I'm going to say we're going to win 11 this year. It's going to be a huge upside for the Bears. And this is the shocking part. For second place, I'm taking Detroit Lions to take second place, which puts Minnesota at third. So the way that breaks down is Chicago number 1, Detroit number 2, Minnesota number 3, and hallelujah, Green Bay number 4. It's about damn time you guys started sucking. I'm so glad that Aaron Rodgers got his head up his butt and he's all like, I know you guys gave me $200 million, but I just don't want to stick around no more. And you guys are like, fuck that. I didn't give you $200 million for you to just walk the fuck out. You'll sit on the bench. I'm glad that's happening. It's going to bite both of you guys in the ass. And for the first time or second time in his career, you guys are going to be last in the division. Hallelujah. Praise it. So anyway, let's break it down now. We're going to stay in the NFC. So I'm going to I said that correctly. Sorry. We're going to stay in the NFC. I'm going to break down all 4 of them, and then we'll jump to the AFC. NFC South. NFC South is made up of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New Orleans Saints, the Carolina Panthers, and then also made up of Saints, Panthers, Bucks. Oh, and the Falcons. They've been so irrelevant that I forgot who I was talking about there for a second, the Atlanta Falcons. So let's break that down. Winners of that division is going to be no other than Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I've already been saying that. If you've been following me and watching my podcast, you know that I'm kind of big on Baker Mayfield. I think he's going to change that division. I also said this. I went on record to say it. I'll go on record and say it again. It's the easiest division in football to win. That's why I say he's going to go in. So this is what I think is essentially going to happen for him. I see them going 11-6, maybe 10-7, but they'll be winning that division, and they'll maybe only a couple of games. Listen, I'm not knocking down the Saints. I'm just saying the Saints are not going to win that division. They're going to be knocking on the doors, but they're going to fall short. Saints be in second place. Carolina Panthers are going to fall short. They're going to be in third place, and they're only going to win like 6 games because let's be real, Andy Dalton's old. He should retire, and they're going to draft a quarterback, so they're going to have a lot of problems next year. And then Atlanta Falcons, you will be dead last. I'm sorry, it's not my fault. It's kind of yours. You had a good quarterback, Mariota. Mariota could have won that division, but you guys passed on him. So now you guys are going to do exactly the same thing Carolina's going to do. You're going to draft a quarterback, and he's going to get your asses killed. You might win 3 games next year. Might. Sorry, Atlanta. You're going to be in the bottom of the barrel in the entire NFL, not just your division, the NFL. So let's get on to moving down to the NFC East. We're going to do the NFC East, and then we'll do West next. So the East is made up of the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles, New York Giants, and then also made up of the I'm laughing. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh when I do my podcast, but some things just shock me. But the Washington Commanders. Again, I've already said this on my podcast. I'll say it again for as long as this is my podcast, for as long as I'm self-producing myself. I will say as I please. The Washington the Washington Commanders are supposed to be the Washington Redskins. Let's just be real. They're not going to win a title anytime soon. If they don't even know what they're supposed to name their team, how the hell are they supposed to know who's supposed to be on that team? So, that being said, this is how I see it going down. Almost an exact repeat of last year. I'm going to say the Eagles win that division. Only by a game. I'd say the Cowboys are going to really be competitive, really want that division. They're just going to fall short. The reason is they're having contract problems with Ezekiel Elliott. And rumor is, I've read this a couple of times, more than just once. Rumor is they're thinking about getting rid of Ezekiel Elliott. So they've got some problems. But they're still going to be good enough to be very, very competitive. New York Giants be third place. And then, like I said, the Commanders will be last in that division, but they will be better than the Atlanta Falcons. I'll say that. Washington Commanders might win 6 games. Atlanta Falcons might win 3. Might win 3. Again, like I said, I think that's going to be the worst team in football, Atlanta Falcons. I'm sorry for all you Atlanta guys out there, but that's just how I feel. This is just my thoughts. So that breaks it down to the NFC West. NFC West. This is to me, it's going to be up for grabs. So this is what they're made up of. They're made up of the Seattle Seahawks. They're made up of San Francisco 49ers. They're made up of the Los Angeles Rams, which is really crazy to say that, right? It just rolls off the tongue like it's perfect. But, in my lifetime, this is funny. They had been the Los Angeles Rams, and then they had been the St. Louis Rams, and now they're the Los Angeles Rams again. So that's why it rolls off the tongue. They've been in L.A. before. They're in L.A. again. But, like I said, I think it was a decade or so, maybe 10 years. They were the St. Louis Rams, but now they're the LA Rams. And then you got the Rams, you've got the Hawks, you've got the Niners, and then you've got, the Arizona Cardinals. That's why I forgot about them. It's been that long since they've been competitive. So this is how I see that division breaking down. I see Seattle Seahawks being the #1 team in that division. Geno Smith is just going to own that division. You're like, what? Why do you say that? I'll say that because I say this. The second place team will be Los Angeles Rams, who is going to be hoping that Matthew Stafford gets them back on track. But let's be honest, Matthew Stafford's going into his 14th year. How is a 14-year veteran, going to get anybody on track? I think his days were in Detroit. I think his days are done. But their defense is very well. And they got a very sharp running back, so they'll win a lot of games. They're just not going to win enough to win the division. So that being said, they will be second place. Third place will end up going to the 49ers. Here's the thing about them. So I understand that they should have won the Super Bowl last year. They didn't even go because Jimmy got hurt. But that's the problem. So they got rid of Jimmy, right? Well, first of all, they drafted Trey Lance. They started the year with Trey Lance. He gets hurt due to Chicago roughing them up week 1. How you doing, Bears? And then so they get forced to go with Jimmy Garoppolo, which should have never been forced at him anyway. He tears up the season until the very end of the year, and then he gets hurt, and then they have to go with Brock Purdy, who actually impressed them. So Brock Purdy will be looking to be their starting quarterback. They are already looking to trade Trey Lance. So if you did not know that, you know that now thanks to me, Erick Coughlin. You heard that first on Just My Thoughts. Trey Lance is getting traded. To who, I don't know yet, but speculations is Detroit Lions. And you say, why would you say that? Detroit Lions got Jared Goff. That's exactly why I'm saying that. If you don't know who Jared Goff is coming into his 10th year of his contract. So again, he's getting old too. So they got to have somebody that can move the chain, somebody that can move around, someone mobile, someone young, someone can play for the next 8 years. That's the reason why that's going to go down. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be Jared Goff for Trey Lance. I'm just saying they're working on a deal. If you do not know that, you know that now. Trey Lance is working on a deal with the Detroit Lions. You heard it from me first. How you doing? My name is Erick Daniel Coughlin. And then the last team in that division has been repeatedly the last team of that division. They cannot figure it out. They need a quarterback. They need a defense. They need coaches. They need linebackers. They need everything in the world. That they need a new organization. And I'm talking about the Arizona Cardinals. They haven't been relative since they had Kurt Warner. What? I didn't even know Kurt Warner played out there. That's exactly my point. Kurt Warner brought them to the Super Bowl. I'm going to just spit out a number. I don't quite exactly remember the year. 2013, 14, somewhere around there. But that's what I'm saying. They have not been relevant for nearly a decade, and it's been a problem that they cannot fix, and I don't know why. Maybe it's a whole entire organizational problem. Maybe they should get a new manager. Maybe they should get a new team owner. They definitely need some quarterbacks in there. I said quarterbacks, not one. They need a couple of them. They need something to shake up that organization because they have been dead in their tracks for a decade of my knowledge. So there you go. Out of all the NFC teams that I've named, I've given you the winners. The Bears winning their division. I've said the Eagles are going to win their division. I said the Seahawks are going to win their division. And then I said that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win their division. So I can't necessarily build a playoff picture, but we all know this as football fans. If you win your division, it's an automatic ticket to the playoffs. So I'm already picking 4 playoff teams before the draft. What? I said I'm already picking 4 playoff teams before the draft. That's what I do. That's what I do all my life. I've been doing this, and I'm going to continue to do this all my life. My name is Erick Daniel Coughlin. You're watching Just My Thoughts. Let's break down the AFC. This is where it gets funny, right? Because the AFC for, I don't know, I'd say the last 5 years, I'm picking on somebody right now, and it's not my fault. It's just the way the league has turned out. For the last 5 years, the AFC has been a joke. They have not been competitive. All the big boys, all the big shots have played in the NFC, and so now, finally, all the big shots that cannot win the NFC is like, fuck it, man. Let's go over here and let's be competitive. Maybe we'll win some games over here. So there's a lot of, quarterback changes that happened last year, happened this year. The AFC has got shaken around, and they've gotten scary freaking good. Scary good. So the best team in the AFC starts off with the Cincinnati Bengals. So we're going to start off with the AFC North, and we're going with the Bengals, the Ravens, the Steelers, and the Browns. So I just told you the best team in the world is Cincinnati Bengals. I'm sorry. I've been watching football all my life. I'm 35. I've been understanding football for 25 of the 35. The scariest offense I've ever seen is no other than the Cincinnati Bengals. They have the fastest, scariest people I've ever seen. I mean, here's the thing. When you watch these guys play, everybody's wide open. How is an offense so damn good that you got 4 guys that can catch the ball, and they are ready to catch the ball? No one can guard these guys, and they also have a quarterback that can deliver it to them whenever they want. Like, they make it look effortlessly. That's due to Joe Burrow. That's due to T. Higgins. That's due to Jamar Chase. And that is also due to Mason Nixon, their running back. Like I said, they're scary freaking good. Second place team, I'd have to take the Steelers. The Steelers have been spending a lot of money the last 2 years. Yes, they spent a lot of money this year, but they also spent a lot of money last year. And now, obviously, they're going to spend a lot of money next year. They are in a rebuilding process. This is the year 2 of their rebuild, and I think their money is going to have to start to show up, and I think it shows up this year. They take second place. I think Baltimore Ravens, you're like, what? Third place? No. I think the Baltimore Ravens go all the way to the 4th place. I think the Browns take 3rd place. If you've been paying attention to the NFL, the Browns have been getting shockingly good, surprisingly, shockingly good. I'm talking about, like, making playoffs good. I'm talking about producing Pro Bowlers good. The Browns are not a trash team in the NFL. What? I said the Browns are not a trash team in the NFL. They are going to be really good. They're going to push to make a playoff spot. They probably will. 3 teams of this damn division might make playoffs, and I just named 3 of them: the Cincinnati Bengals, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Cleveland Browns. The only team that will not, and it's because of their quarterback. He's an idiot. He thinks he's worth $200 million, and his team thinks he's only worth $80 million. So they can't get their group together. They can't get their heads on straight, and they're not going to win a lot of games. I'm talking about Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens might only win 7 games next year. Mark my words. That when you have a quarterback that's not happy, usually you have a quarterback that's refusing to play. So if he's going to refuse to play, you can't win. Sorry, Baltimore Ravens. For the first time in a long time, you will be the last team in your division. I haven't seen this. I'm going to be honest with you. I used to like the Baltimore Ravens. I liked them when they had Kyle Bowler. I liked them when they had Joe Flacco. I've respected them because of, Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and Terrell Suggs, the things that they've done. Yes, I am a Bears fan. And yes, I just listed an entire superstar defense, but that's the reason why I listed them. I told you I'm a fan of the game. I learn legends and I respect legends, and that's a legendary franchise that will be last in their division this year. Let's move forward. Moving on to the AFC South. Now, to me, this is the worst division in football. To me, this is the least amount of talent in football. And to me, 2 of these teams will be right up there with the Atlanta Falcons as trash teams of the NFL. So let's break down what the AFC South is. You have the Tennessee Titans. You have the Indianapolis Colts. You have the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you also have Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars. I went blank for a second. I have to apologize if that happens to me. I do go blank. We're talking about the South. Okay, here we go. Texans. There you go. You have the Houston Texans. You have the Indianapolis Colts. You have the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you have the Tennessee Titans. So the Titans will win that division. Why? Because Ryan Tannehill, he's won that division 3 years. This is going to be year 4. And he'll win year 5 too, because like I said, this is starting to become the worst division in football. So Tennessee Titans would be number 1. Then Jacksonville Jaguars, shockingly enough, will be the second team to take that division. They will be in second place. They're going to make a playoff push, might make playoffs. Let me tell you something. They really love their quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, and I absolutely hate him, right? But this son of a bitch made playoffs last year, and I was making fun of him. I was picking on him. Me and my cousin we were having a debate last year about him, and I was like, this guy looks like he belongs on a beach somewhere. He should be like surfing it up and trying to knock down babes. He don't belong on the football field. But I was wrong. And he does belong on the football field. He is very talented. Yeah, he looks like a surfer, and he looks like he probably smokes pot. But guess what? Hey, I smoke pot too, so I can't really hate on him for that. The whole world's smoking pot. So if you're not, you got a problem. That's all I can say. And I'm sorry for the ones who aren't. I can say that too. Either which way. So then you have the other 2. The other 2, one of them very historic franchise, the Indianapolis Colts. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what's going on with them. They have struggled for about the last 5 seasons, and they're going to continue to struggle. So they keep on bringing quarterbacks in, and they think they're going to change their franchise, right? They tried Carson Wentz. It didn't happen. They tried Nick Foles. It didn't happen. They tried Matt Ryan. It didn't happen. So it's not going to happen. I don't know. I expect these guys and suspect, I guess that works both ways. But either which way, I'm thinking these guys are going to draft a quarterback, which means that's going to be year 1 is a learning process. Year 2 is turnaround year. Year 3, you got to start winning games, right? So that means for the next 3 years, I think they're going to be trash. They might win 3 or 4 games. Mark my words on that. They're going to be right up there with Atlanta, 3 or 4 games. These guys are going to be the bottom of the barrel in the NFL. And then that goes the same thing for the Houston Texans. Houston Texans will be on the bottom of the barrel of the NFL, win 2 or 3 games if they get lucky. Maybe I'm telling you 2 or 3 games. I'm telling you, I'm not giving them any more than that. I expect them to make a lot of noise on draft night. Not only are they going to be drafting a quarterback, they'll expect them to draft a wide receiver, expect them to draft a running back, expect them to draft 3 defensive players. I think they're going to go after a defensive tackle. I think they're going to go after 2 cornerbacks. And if trades work out and they get more picks, I expect them to draft a linebacker. That whole fucking team needs a remake and a remodel. They got to be shaken up. Either that or close the doors. Like just sell your team. Get out of Houston and Dallas. Texas will make enough money with the Dallas Cowboys that they don't need the Houston Texans anyway. So if you can't figure out how to win, you should let someone else buy your team, like, St. Louis or something, because you can't quite get it figured out. You haven't been able to get it figured out in a long time. I don't remember the last time I seen the Texans being competitive. As a matter of fact, I'll go on record and say this. The Texans may have never been competitive. Let's go down to the AFC East. Now, this used to be one of the easiest divisions in the world to pick for a Super Bowl contender, and it used to be the hardest division in the world for everybody else to win because of Tom Brady. But now Tom Brady's been long gone, and there's a new sheriff in town. His name is Josh Allen. So let's break down what the AFC East is. It's the Buffalo Bills. It's the New England Patriots. It's the Miami Dolphins. And it's the New York Jets. So let's break that down. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Buffalo Bills to win that division. They've been winning that division 4 years in a row. Josh Allen, I think they're going to continue to win that division 5 more years in a row. Josh Allen, I think they've got arguably, time has to happen. He's still young, but arguably in top 10 greatest quarterbacks of all time. You just got to give him time. He's going to get there. I expect them to make a push for the Super Bowl. They might play in a AFC championship game. If not, they're going to be right up there, right next to the championship game. These guys are going to be hard to put away. They're definitely going to win their division. Second place in that division, I'm going to take, believe it or not, I'm taking the New England Patriots. I've seen a lot of good things on the New England Patriots last year. I like their young quarterback. Of course, he's not Tom Brady, but let's be real. No one is. He's the GOAT, bro. Like, the fact that they got him was legendary, and it's historic because we'll never see that again. We'll never see anybody dominate the game the way Tom Brady dominated the game. So they'll never be that again. That doesn't mean that they're going to suck forever. I think they're the second best team in that division. I think they're going to make a small playoff push. I like everything they got going on with Mac Jones. They got potential. They got serious potential. Don't count out the Patriots. They're tough. Third place team in that division, I'm going to have to take the Jets. And this is crazy, right? You're like, what the hell? You're taking the Jets? Yes, I understand they're going to draft a quarterback. I understand they're going to draft a couple of defensive linemen. I understand they're going to draft a couple early wide receivers. They're trying to reshape and rebuild their team through the draft. I understand that. But I also understand this. In that same division as the Miami Dolphins, and let's be honest, like, the speculations were they were going to take over the league last year, but you know what the speculations were proven? Proven wrong. Why? Because somebody got exposed. Somebody got exposed. Who got exposed in the NFL? I tell you who got exposed in the NFL, and this is just my thoughts, my opinion. I think the most vulnerable quarterback in the NFL is Tua Tagovailoa. That's right, Tua Tagovailoa. He, come in the first 3 games last year, ripping it up, tearing it up, doing great. Everyone's like, oh my God, are you paying attention to the Dolphins? I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of paying attention. They're looking good. Game 4, he gets wiped out. Boom, concussion. He sits out for 2 games. He comes back, he wins 2 or 3 games in a row. Then guess what? Boom, gets laid out with concussion. And then guess what? He has to come back later on in the league. Boom, gets laid out by concussion. This man missed about 5 games last year. I repeat that. He missed 5 games last year due to concussion protocols. He doesn't know when to throw the ball. And when he does know how to throw the ball, it's usually late. Even if he gets the pass off, he's usually getting creamed. He's getting hit. He's getting sacked. A lot of bad things happen to Tua Tagovailoa, and that's because he's inexperienced and he's not quick enough to be in the NFL. That's why I think the Dolphins are on a decline and not an rise. That's right. They are not rising to the top. They are falling to the bottom. They need a quarterback, and they don't even know it. I'm telling you, you heard it first from yours truly, Erick Daniel Coughlin, on Just My Thoughts. So, now, the final division in the NFL. What used to be the easiest division in the NFL, in my personal opinion, just became the greatest division in the NFL. I am talking about the AFC West. Let's break it down. The AFC West is made up of the Denver Broncos, the Oakland Raiders, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the San Diego Chargers. Let me tell you something. All 4 of these teams got great studs at the quarterback position. I really like Justin Herbert. He's the quarterback to the Chargers. I think he's young. I think he's smart. Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence essentially are the same exact guy. So if you like Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars, you should just peep out Justin Herbert for the Los Angeles, or yeah, Chargers. I think they're the LA Chargers, San Diego Chargers. No, they're not the It's the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. They used to be the San Diego Chargers forever and a day, but San Diego got bought out by Los Angeles. So that's what happened. Um, but then, okay, so not only do I like Justin Herbert for the Chargers, I love Jimmy Garoppolo. What? I said I love Jimmy Garoppolo with the Oakland Raiders, actually the Las Vegas Raiders. See, like I said, I'm an old school guy, so I'm calling them by their old cities, man. You have to forgive me. I'm still adapting to the new ways of the NFL. Another adaptation that I'm having to do with is an extra team makes playoff. There used to only be 12, now it's 14. Football is getting kind of confusing, so it's really hard for podcasters. Give us a break, guys. The league's changing on us, and we have to be willing to change with it. We have to be willing to adapt, even though we've been calling it the Oakland Raiders for 50 years. Now all of a sudden it's the Las Vegas Raiders, and we got to be cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Back to what we're talking about, the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs. So who's going to take number one spot of the AFC West? I give it to the Raiders with Jimmy Garoppolo winning that division, showing up in town first year in, and he's going to throw the ball all over the field. Second place, I'm giving it to Russell Wilson and Denver Broncos. That's right. I understand that they're on a rebuild. This is year 2 of rebuild. Year 1 rebuild was getting their quarterback. They did that. And they also kind of picked up some wide receivers for him. So this year in the draft, you expect this to happen. I'm already expecting this to happen. And if it does happen, you heard it from me first. They're not going to mess around. They're going to completely reshape their defense. Majority of their picks will be defensive picks. And they're going to be ready to take over, which they're just not going to be able to because no one's going to be able to stop Baby Brady. And so that's just the bottom line on that. Then third place, I give it to the Kansas City Chiefs. And then fourth place, I give it to the Los Angeles Chargers. But make no mistake about it, this is going to be the hardest team in the NFL to win, our division to win. It's going to have the best quarterback competition in the world. Like I said, Justin Herbert, Jimmy Garoppolo, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes. Are you kidding me? All those guys can be easily talked about in the top 10 best players at that position, and they're all in the same division. That's scary for all 4 of these teams, right? Because if you're a guy like Justin Herbert, odds are you're going to be in last place of that division. But you're a great quarterback. Odds are you're going to win 9 or 10 games, and you're going to miss the playoffs. So there's a lot of things that could be said negatively toward you that shouldn't be talked about because the way that the way the league's broke down, only a certain amount of teams can make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So you can be, say you go 10-7, but because you played in the AFC West and Jimmy Garoppolo shocks the world and he goes 13-4, and then you got Denver Broncos going 12-5, and then you got Kansas City Chiefs going, 11-6, and then you just fall short at 10-7. Guess what? You won 10 games, you still missed the playoffs. I'm sorry. That doesn't mean you suck. It just means you have a very, very, very tough division. And that's what we're going to get into next. Before I wrap things up, I told you guys I was going to give you my opinions on the best divisions and how they're broke down. So that's what I'm going to do. First and foremost, I started off with them, and I'm turning back to them. I'm going to say the strongest defensive division in the NFL this year is definitely the NFC North. I'm going to say that all 4 of those teams are going to be in the top 10 defenses. Yes, all 4 teams out of one division will be in the top 10 NFL's greatest defenses. So it doesn't leave a lot of room. It doesn't leave a lot of room for anybody else, guys. I know there's 10 spots. We're taking up 4 of them. How you doing? Okay, so that being said, I'm talking about the most competitive division, which I just summed that up a second ago. The most competitive division will be the AFC West. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a heartbreak for Justin Herbert, but that division is going to be lit. And I'll tell you this, I don't know the exact rule changes. So if it's possible that all 4 teams make the playoffs in a single division, the only division that's possible to do that is the AFC West. So, keep an eye on that. I don't know if it's a possibility or not, because I said I don't know the league rules. But if there's no rule saying that they can't, They just might. I'm telling you, it's going to be scary, crazy. And I'm going to tell you the easiest division to win is definitely going to be the NFC South with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's going to be the easiest one to win. And then the saddest one to watch, the most pathetic, the least competitive division in the league will be the AFC South. Like I said, the AFC South is going to be made up of two of the worst teams in the NFL. If you got 32 teams, there's going to be three of them down there at 32, at 31, at 30. That's going to be the Texans, the Colts, the Falcons. Those guys are going to suck really, 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 really bad. And the fact that two of them are in the same division means that division is going to be garbage, not even going to be worth watching. So it's like if you're a Tennessee Titans fan, if you're a Jacksonville Jaguars fan, I'm sorry that you're going to be like excited to watch every game every week because really you're not watching. You don't have much to compete with, bro. So if you guys missed the playoffs, that's sad. And so let's do that. So out of all the winners of the divisions of the AFC, I picked the Raiders to win their division. I had picked the Cincinnati Bengals to win their division. I had picked the Raiders, the Bengals. Oh yeah, the Bills to win their division. I forgot. I'm looking over here for a second. You got the West, Oakland. I'm just going to say Oakland. I'm sorry. I'm not saying Las Vegas Raiders. So then Buffalo Bills for the East. The South, that's what I missed. Tennessee Titans in the South. And the North, the Cincinnati Bengals. So if you were almost create a playoff picture, almost. I know it's early. I know it's not even, draft hasn't even come. Draft is this weekend. I'm excited. I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to see what the Bears are going to do with Justin. If I were anything to do with the organization, I would only focus on one thing, and that's the offensive line. I don't care if I've got 6 draft picks or if I've got 5 draft picks or if I got 8 draft picks. They all would be offensive line. I know that's crazy to say, but I say crazy things. This is my show. I'm allowed to do that. I have one focus as a Chicago Bears fan, and that's protect Justin. So by all means, I'd be drafting every offensive lineman possible. That's just what I would do. But anyway, so let's break that down. In a 4-way, I already did that once. I kind of just did it again, so I kind of did it twice. You could pick 4, you could pick 8 out of your 14 teams making the playoffs by simply picking the winners of that division. So that's just the way that works. As far as filling in the gaps, I can take a little bit of time. I can take a small shot at that to fill in the gaps. So there's 7 teams on each side of the ball. If I've already given you, we're going to do NFC first. So I've given you the Bears. I've given you the Eagles, given you the Bucks, and then I've given you the Seahawks. So then if I have to fill in the gaps, that gives me 4 out of 7. I got 3 more teams. This is what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you the Lions. I'm going to give you the Giants. And I'm going to give you this is a tough call. Maybe the Cowboys. Like I said, that's a tough call. So let's do that. On the AFC side, I've given you the Raiders. I've given you the Titans. I've given you the Bengals. And I've given you the Bills. So if I had to fill in the gaps, if I had to pick 3 more teams to make up the playoffs for the AFC, I'm giving you the Broncos, giving you the Chiefs, and I'm giving you the Chargers. I say that if it's possible, I say the whole damn division goes to the playoffs. And that's just what my thoughts think. That's just how I see it. Like I said, I don't know the rules, so I don't know if that's even possible. But if it is possible, I'm claiming it to happen. Well, I just finished my coffee, so that pretty much sums up everything that I've done today. Thought Tracker is eliminated. I want to thank you guys for giving me your time. If you always feel free to cash at me if you like what you see. Erick Coughlin, #Coughlin Pride. Have a nice day.